Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'm going to describe you that what you have to do in the lab number 4. So this is our fourth lab about the graphical user interface. As always, what you do that you have to go to the website of the course, and on the website you are going to go to the user interface design course. So in the user interface design course, you will find that by default you are going to the lesson section, but you will not find the lab in the lesson section, because this time I am giving you the lab as assignment, because I cannot check on the spot. So you have to submit the lab as the assignment. So you will click on the assignment section. In the assignment section you are going to find the lab number 4, graphical user interface. You will click on the lab 4, graphical user interface, and you will find the instructions: submit the Java program of the exercise, that is upload the Java file. Lab details are there. There is a doc file, Microsoft Word file, and the PDF file. So either you can click the doc or the PDF file. They describe the detail of the lab, what are the objective of the lab, and what is the exercise and what you have to do in the exercise. Then we have a example Java program and the images. So you will find one example Java program is given to you, which is the visibility demo 2.java. Because this Java program is using the images, so in addition to download this Java program, you have to download the 3 images. These are the JPG images: earth.jpg, moon.jpg, and the sun.jpg. So you are going to keep these files in the same folder, and if you are using the NetBeans, then these files must be in the folder where your class file is being produced once you compile the Java program, because this Java program is using the images. So if the images are not found, your program will not display the images. So it is important that you specify the location of the images in the Java program. Let's come to the description of the lab. So you are going to click on the PDF file to read the description. I have already opened the PDF file, so I am going to show you. This is the lab 4, GUI 4. So objective of this labs are using the layout, using the layout manager, add the buttons to the panel. We have already used the layout. Again we are using some of the layouts. We are adding the button to the panel. So again we are doing this thing, adding the image boxes to the panel using the ImageIcon class. So this is the new thing. We have not done this thing. So we are using the ImageIcon class to specify the images, and then adding the images to the panels. And we are also adding the text area in the panel with the scroll bar. Scroll bar means that, for example, here on the right side you can see that there is a vertical scroll bar is there. We can use the mouse to move the scroll bar, and we can see the different pages of this document. Similarly, if we are writing something in the text area is basically something like a text field, but with the multiple lines. In the text field you have only one line, but in the text area you will have the multiple lines. So we are going to add some text in the text area, and if the text is not going to be fit into the text area, then we shall have the scroll bar, so that we can move the scroll bar to see the complete text. So this is the thing also we are doing first time. And we are going to implement some event handling using the button. So the example Java program is given to you. An example Java program visibility demo 2.java is given to you with the following feature. Let me see if the recording is going smoothly. Yes, just I want to make sure that the recording is going smoothly. So what is this Java program is doing? The Java program has the layout of the main frame with the border layout. So the main frame has the border layout. It means that it has the 5 areas: north, south, east, west, and the center. A panel in the center to show the text area. So we will have some panel in which we are going to put the text area. So as the output of this program, you can see that there is a text is area, but this text is not directly fit into the frame. But first we put the text area into the panel, and then we put the panel in the frame. And the text area has the scroll bar, so here you can see that there is a scroll bar is there. A panel in the west to show the image. So this text panel is in the center. Of course we don't have anything on the east. And then we have a area panel which contain the images, so which is on the west side. A panel in the south to show the buttons. So you can see that we have one more panel in the south which has the two buttons, the sun and the moon. The program allows the user to press the button sun or the moon, then the image of sun or the moon are displayed in the image panel. So when the user is going to press this button, it is going to show the images of the sun and the moon respectively, and the information about these objects. The information about the sun or the moon is displayed in the text area using the predefined string. The method action perform implement the logic to draw the string in the text area and the image in the image panel. So we have to write the logic such that when we are pressing the sun image should be displayed in this panel, and the information or the text about the sun should be displayed in the text area. So let me show you that how this program is working. This is a visibility demo 2. I am running this program. So you can see that this is the output for this program. By default it is showing the image of the sun in the west panel, and then showing the information about the sun. If I am going to press the moon button, it is going to show the image of the moon on the west side, and in the text area it is going to display the information about the moon. Let's now see that how this program is working. We are going to discuss the code for this program. So here we have importing the packages, and every package has some classes, so we are writing the asterisk sign. We have a class, public class visibility demo to extend the JFrame and implement the action listener. So we are using the JFrame to implement this GUI, and we are implementing the action listener interface. So the action listener interface has the action perform method. So implement the logic. So when the user is pressing the button, we have to write the code, we have to write the logic in the action perform method, which is defined in the action listener interface. We are defining some static variable which we are using in many other labs, in many previous labs. The frame width is 400 and the frame height is 200, and the static variable integer lines 15. So we are using these variable to define that how many lines should be there in the text area. So there will be the 15 lines will be there in the text area. And then one more static final variable, character per line, which is 20. So it means that there are going to be roughly 20 characters can be written in one line of the text area. Then we are defining the two objects of the class label, and these objects are the moon label and the sun label. We are going to initialize these objects later in the constructor. We are defining the object of the class text area, and this object is called the text area. Since in the text area we have to write some information about the object, so we are defining the three string variable, string variable sun star, string variable moon star, and the string variable earth star. In the example program you will find that we are using the two string, but in the exercise program you have to also use the third string. So these strings are the information about the sun, moon and the star. So you can see that this is quite large. If I am going to scroll, you will find that this information is there as a string for these three string variable. So we are going to use these variable to put the text in the text area. Then we have the constructor. Let me make it full screen. Then we have the constructor. We are in the main method, we are calling the constructor. So after this we have a main method in which we are calling the constructor of the class visible demo. This was our class visible demo 2, and this is the name of the object, and we are calling the constructor without any parameter. And here we are using one more statement using this object demo GUI set location relative to null. So what this statement is going to do, it is going to put the output window in the center of the screen. So when I run this program, you have seen that the output is going to be shown in the center of the screen, and then GUI is going to be visible by calling the set visible method true. Here we call the constructor. So let's see that what we are doing in the constructor. So we have the constructor visibility demo 2. We are setting the size of the frame by the variables, by the static final variables, that is the frame width and the frame height, and then set default close operation JFrame exit on close. So when we are going to press the closing button, the program or the frame is going to be terminated. Setting the title for the frame visibility demonstration. Setting the layout for the frame as the border layout. As I told you that there are going to be the 5 areas are there in the border layout: north, south, east, west, center, and it is not necessary that we are using all the areas. We might use some and we might not use some of the areas. Then we are defining the text panel in which we are going to put the text. So we are defining the variable text panel and setting the background for this text panel as the green. Then we are going to initialize the object of the text area, which is already defined here. So we are initializing this text area object here. Text area, we are creating the text area, and there are the 15 lines are there which we already defined, and the number of character per lines are 20. So we are using these to define the text area. We are setting the background for the text area as the white, and this text area set editable false. So it means that the user cannot edit anything in the text area, just he can read the information about the objects. And then we are saying that text area set line wrap true. The meaning is that set line wrap true means that we are using this policy that if the line cannot be fit, if the text cannot be fit in a line, it will automatically go to the next line, because we have the 15 lines are there and there can only be 20 characters in one line, and you can see that the number of characters in a strings are quite large, so they cannot fit in one line. So by using the wrapping policy true, the meaning is that automatically the text or the string is going to move to the next line, because this policy says that wrapping is true. Then initially we are saying we are initializing the text area by calling the method set text, and we are showing the sun string, which we already defined that this is the sun string, and this is going to be put into the text area. And then we are going to create the scroll pen. As I told you that if we cannot see the complete text, we can do the scrolling. So we are creating the scroll pen and we are putting the text area in the scroll pen. So this is how we are doing in the Java. First we create the text area, then we create the scroll pen, and then we put the text area inside the scroll pen. So we are passing the text area as a parameter to the scroll pen. And by using this scroll text object, we are defining some policy. What is the policy? Scroll text, which is this object, set vertical scroll policy bar, and we are using some constant from the class jscrollpen. Jscrollpen dot vertical scroll bar always. The meaning is that when you are running this program, the vertical scroll bar is always going to be visible. Either there is enough text which is already fit in the text area or not. In both the cases we are going to see the vertical scroll bar. So let me show you this output. Okay, so you can see that here this vertical scroll bar is always there. So either the text is going to be fit here, you can see that the information about the sun is there, but the scroll bar is always going to be there. Even in this case our text is quite big, but even the text is small, this scroll bar is always going to be visible by this policy, that vertical scroll bar always. Then we are adding the scroll text, this scroll text object in the text panel. So we have a text panel which we already defined. So we are not directly putting the text area in the frame, but we are putting the text area in the scroll pen, and then we are putting the scroll pen in the text panel, and the text panel will be later on put inside the frame. So we have doing this thing for the text area, and we put the text area in the scroll text and the scroll text in the text panel. We also have to show the images, so we are going to create one more panel, which is the picture panel. So always we are doing that, we try to create some panel, and then we put the other component inside the panel. So initially we create the text panel, so now we are creating the picture panel. The background for this picture panel is the white, and the layout for this picture panel is the flow layout. Flow layout means that the components are going to be arranged or organized in the picture panel from the left to the right, top to the bottom. And in this picture panel we are going to add the images. Now there are the two ways here. One is written as a comment, that you can specify the absolute path of the image. For example, we create the object of the class ImageIcon, and we call this object as a sun icon. We write the equal and the new operator, then again we write the class name, and we specify the complete path, absolute path of the sun image. But this might not be the good approach, that you are specifying the absolute path. So the other way is that if your class file and the images are there in the same folder, then rather than writing the complete path, you can just directly write the name of the image. In my case, my Java and class files and the images are in the same folder, so it is going to be search the images. If it is going to be fine, then it can create the ImageIcon object with the image. So we have created the ImageIcon object, and we have initialized this object with the sun image. Then we are creating the object of the class sun label, and we are initializing this label with this icon ImageIcon. So previously what we have we were doing in the previous lab, when we create the J label, we were initializing the label with some text. So usually before the text field or before some objects, we specify the label as a text, so the user can know about the text field, what is the purpose for this text field. But here in the label we are not writing any text, but this label is being initialized by using the ImageIcon, and the ImageIcon has been initialized by using the image. And then by using this label we are calling the method set visible true. So it means that this is going to be true, this is going to be visible by default. So initially the sun image is going to be visible, and then adding the sun label in the picture panel. So we already have the picture panel. As I told you that we directly not putting the things in the frame, we put the thing in the panels, and then we put the panel in the frame. So we have initialized the sun label and we put it in the picture panel. Now we are going to do the same thing with the other images. We are going to create the ImageIcon, we are going to create these label, and we are going to add these ImageIcon into the picture panel. But the difference will be that initially the sun label is set visible true, because this is the initial image we are going to show. But for the other images we are going to set this value as a false, because they are not going to be visible initially when we are running the program first time. So we are going to create the ImageIcon, which is going to initialize with the moon image, and then going to create the moon label, and you can see that here we are setting the set visible false and adding again the moon label in the picture panel. So the meaning is that this picture panel can hold only the one label at a time. By default it is holding the sun image. Now we have created the ImageIcon for the moon image, and then finally we are going to create the button panel. So we have created the button panel, in which we are going to add the sun and the moon button. We are setting the background for the button panel as the light gray, and setting the layout for the button panel as the flow layout. Components are going to be arranged from left to right, from top to bottom. And then we have created the buttons. We create the sun button, and then we are registering the listener for this sun button. So we are also providing the string for this sun button, and as you have seen that this is the string for the sun button. Similarly there is a string for the moon button, and similarly we are creating the moon button with the string moon and registering the listener for this moon button and adding the moon button in the button panel. So sun button is adding in the button panel, moon button is adding in the in the button panel. So both the buttons are being added. And finally we are going to add these panels into the frame. So we have the three panels are there. One is the text panel, the second is the picture panel, and third is the button panel. So the picture panel is going to be added in the west, that is on the left side. Text panel is going to be added in the center. We are not going to leave the center space empty, otherwise GUI is not going to be look proper. So we are skipping, or we are not using the east area which is on the right. And then finally we are adding the button panel in the south, which is the bottom location or the down location, and then calling the method pack, so that components are going to be packed. Since our class is implementing the action listener interface, we have to implement the action perform method. So we are implementing the action perform method, and by using the action event object, so whenever the user is pressing the button, because we have registered the listener for these button, so you can see that we have registered the listener for the sun button and we have registered the listener for the moon button. So whenever the user is pressing these button, an event object is going to be created. It is going to be passed to this method, and by using this object we are going to get the information about which button has been pressed by the user. So by calling the method get action command, from this object E we are getting the string action command, which is going to provide the string of the button, so we can know that which button has been pressed. So you can see that when we have created the button, two strings are there, one for the sun button and one is for the moon button. So we can write the condition. If action command equal to the moon, it means that the user has pressed the moon button. Then what we have to do, in the text area we are going to show the text about the moon. So we are going to show the moon string, which is already defined as a class variable. So this is going to be shown, or this is going to be put in the text area, here into the text area. And then moon label is going to be set visible true, because by default it was the sun label, or we don't know that which button the user is pressing. So if the moon button is pressing, then the moon label should be visible, and this label contain the image, not the text. And the sun label is going to be false. Sun label set visible false. If on the contrary, if the user is not pressing the moon button, if the user is pressing the sun button, we have to write the things for the sun. So in the text area we are going to put the sun string, and the sun label is going to be set visible true. So it means that the image icon which was in the sun label is going to be displayed in the picture panel, and the moon label is going to be set visible to the false. In any other case we are going to write some statement unanticipated error. So this is the program which is given as the example program. Now let's come to the exercise and let's see what is the exercise is there. In the exercise, add the following functionality to the given program. Add a button earth to show the image and information about the earth. So you can see that in the output we are showing the one more button earth, and there is information about the earth. So the user can press the button earth, image of the earth is going to be shown on the picture panel, and the information about the earth is going to be shown in the text panel, and it is going to put in the text area. So this is the exercise program you have to do. So now I'm going to run the exercise program. So you can see that this is a visibility demo 3. You have to write this program. I'm going to run this program. In the exercise program, now 3 buttons are there. By default, information is about the sun is shown. If I press the moon button, information and the image of the moon are shown. If I'm going to press the earth button, information about the earth and the image of the earth is going to be shown. Anytime I can press any button to see the image and the information. If I'm going to press the closing icon, it is going to terminate the program. So this is the explanation about the lab number 4. So you have to do this exercise and you have to submit your assignment on the course website.